Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. I'm a top 400 Radiant and today I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks on how to op and basically how to use the op more effectively. So getting straight into it, I'm going to start with opping on defense because I feel like that's where the op really shines and is where I like to do most of my opping is on the defense side. So for example, if you're opping an angle, let's say you always want to op something more aggressively instead of holding passive on a site. So for example, if I was opping on A, instead of holding here heaven passively, just like waiting for people to flood onto my site, what you want to do as an opper is you want to take an aggressive line. So you want to take something like A long here where you have more control of the map and you're getting a lot more information, or you're opping short where you're getting all of this information onto the whole A line. The reason we're doing this is because once you get into an aggressive angle with your op and you have this line right here, you pretty much allow for your teammates to rotate to fight other sites. So you can pretty much be the solo anchor for A and your team can go help pad B or pad the C site where you can solo lock down one site on your own. Whereas if you're playing a passive angle, you really don't get that opportunity. So if I was opping heaven, let's say, or even opping back site like this, I don't get that information and I pretty much have to keep one towards A to pretty much help me hold this site. And so that's why you want to op aggressive angles and get that information for your team. So obviously that's easier said than done. Like getting up on these deep angles can be a little bit hard. On A, it's not as hard. But let's say, for example, on C site, let's say I wanted to take the C line. I wanted to push down C long here and get this line right here. This is huge information. If I'm able to get up even further, like here, this is even more information. But it can be pretty hard to get down to these spots. So another thing that you want to do is you want to ask your teammates for help. Specifically, your initiators most of the time will be the ones helping you get these lines. So for example, your Sky will help you dog down, or your Sova will do a deep dart for you, something along the lines of that, where you're getting your teammates, calling for your teammates to pretty much help you get into these areas where it's heavily contested. So for example, I would ask my Sova to do a dart down deep C long if I wanted to get that C line, or I could get my Sova to dart a lobby. And so with that dart, I can be confident that there can't be anyone at this box, and then I can peek this angle with full confidence and then move into this angle right here to get the full A line. All right, guys, moving on to my second tip. You want to give yourself as much opportunities to fight as possible. And what I mean by that is that ties in very closely with getting this aggressive line. Once you get the aggressive angle, you want to give yourself as many opportunities to shoot your op. It's like that one famous saying, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So you want to give yourself as much opportunities to take as many shots as possible. So for example, let's say I'm on this aggressive line and I get droned out, or I get sky dogged and I have to shoot the dog, or I have to shoot the drone, right? I shoot that drone and then I want to move back to a position where I can get another shot off. So for example, I would go here. This would be my next fight. After I take this shot, regardless of whether or not I get the kill, I'm going to reposition back, give myself another opportunity to fight. So again, post up at another spot, give myself another opportunity to fire off a shot, and then I move back, and then maybe I go for this short fight here now. They're flooding up A. Maybe I go for the short fight, give myself another opportunity, and then I can move back to default and either fight long or short. And here I have another opportunity to fight. And let's say I still have my dash active. I can dash out, and then I can fight spawn here, give myself another opportunity. And pretty much right there, I gave myself as many opportunities as possible to shoot my op, meaning I gave myself as many chances as I could to get a kill on the enemy team. Now, another thing that I talked about a little bit while I was going over that example is repositioning. You always want to be repositioning with your op, especially after you take a shot. So this ties in also with being a dynamic opper. You never want to be opping one site statically for the entire game, unless the enemy just keeps hitting that site for whatever reason. But most of the time, obviously, in a regular game, your enemy's going to go to every different site. And so you want to be dynamic with your op and move it around the map based on where you think they're going to go. So it's really down to how you read the game. If you think they're going to go A, then you're going to want to op A. If you think the enemy's going to go C, then you want to op C, just to give yourself the highest chance of making your op useful. Because the op is a little bit weak in retake scenarios, so that's why you always want to put yourself in situations where the enemies are running into your op. And so something else that ties in very closely with this is being a dynamic opper and repositioning not just after a shot, but after you've been spotted at a site. So for example, let's say I play on C here and I am opping this C long angle and I either get droned out or somebody jump spots me or somebody peeks and I actually get a kill, let's say, for example. What you want to do here is actually not stay at the site unless they're still committing to this hit. But if you get this kill or you get droned out and then they're not really committing to the site hit, what you want to do is you actually want to rotate this op off of the site, because the chances that they're going to hit your site are pretty low after they've spotted your op. Some teams actually still do hit into an op. It really depends. That's why you want to give yourself a couple seconds and see if they're actually still committing to the site hit. If they're not, then you want to be dynamic with your op and rotate it to the A site before the other team can actually rotate away from your op. So you actually beat them to the rotate on A, and then now they're going to be rotating to A and you're actually on A. So playing against oppers who are able to pretty much dynamically rotate their op is really annoying, because you pretty much feel like they're stream sniping you and you feel like they're everywhere that you go, right? Because you get spotted at one site and then immediately if you rotate to the other site and they're rotating to the other site and you're able to catch them there, playing against that type of opper is so annoying, but it's so effective to play against. Another thing is opping unexpected angles. So for example, instead of opping this common default pre-fire spot right here, you can instead, especially if you're playing jet or chamber, you can reposition with your updraft or your TP, and you can op top site like this. Is a little bit more unexpected because it's not as common for somebody to be playing top site. You know, most people are going to be pre-aiming this, and so if they peek this angle and you're playing top site, it's more unexpected. So you want to be playing those angles that are unexpected, elevation. Same thing goes for this B angle here. Instead of playing low ground here, I like to play on top here because it's more unexpected. And another thing is to play off angles. So instead of holding directly like this, right, where it's more expected, you can play off to the side a little bit and actually play holding like this or even holding like this, because it's more unexpected and people will more likely run into your crosshair rather than if you're playing like this. This is a very common angle for people to jump spot. So they're going to jump spot you out like this, right? But if you're playing a little bit further back, right, and you're holding this line instead, it's not as common for people to jump spot that far. And so they're going to move out like this without really jump spotting or jiggling, and then you're going to get a free shot on them. But yeah, if you're opping on defense a lot of the time, also don't be scared to ask for help from your teammates to break utility or stuff like that. For example, like a lot of Sovas like to dart up here, so you don't be scared to ask your teammate to pre-aim the dart for you while you take this angle with your op, and your teammate can pre-break the dart, or you can even smoke out the dart with your jet smoke. Just pre-smoke it and then you can post up on the angle. So stuff like that, knowing how to break utility, when to break utility, getting your teammates to help you to break utility. Sometimes you shouldn't break utility. So for example, like if I'm opping, right, if I'm opping here and a Sova drones, sometimes I'll actually just ignore the drone. I'll just let the drone fly by, and a lot of the times, especially in ranked, people will actually swing before the Sova drone even fully tags you. Since it's ranked, there's not really good communications a lot of the time. So when their Sova's droning, like you'll still see a lot of people swing out even though the drone hasn't cleared everything fully yet. So if you're just sitting here with an op, right, let's say you're sitting top site and you're holding like this and the Sova drone comes flying at you, don't be scared. Don't even go to shoot it, because you can sometimes catch a timing where the Sova drone's coming at you, but their teammate just kind of doesn't care and swings with it, and you can get the kill on their teammate and drop down, and the drone doesn't even matter. So sometimes it's not worth wasting that op shot to break utility if you know that you can just tank it and get a free kill with it. Okay, moving on to attack side op. I don't really like opping on attack side, especially on jet, because I like to be the one dashing in and making space for my team with a rifle. But if I am opping for whatever reason, you want to pretty much tell your team to play slow and play for picks and let you work your op. What that's going to look like is you're pretty much working picks around the map. So you're going for holding short maybe for the short peek, or you're going for this long fight onto the long guy and holding this line right here, hoping somebody peeks and you can get a kill. Or you're swinging out mid here and going for these fights right here. But whatever it looks like, just pretty much going for picks with your op on attack side is what you want to be doing just around the map. So I like to go for the C fight 9 times out of 10. When I have an op on Haven, I'll go for the C fight here. So I'll go for the back plat fight, default, and then I'll look top site, and I'll pretty much look for a pick here. You can even get your team to make noise towards A, and then a lot of the time, the C guy, if he's playing back plat, he'll go for a rotate here in the open, and you can get a kill on him. or you can get somebody jiggling C and you can get a kill onto him. So working picks like that as well is really good. And then once you take the site with your team, you're going to be playing those long angles. So for example, if we take the A site and I'm opping, I will be posted up here heaven like this, and I might tell my Omen or Brim, whatever, not to smoke heaven just so I have the sight line here. Or I might tell them to smoke heaven and then go for a deep angle onto spawn like this, right? But most of the time, I'll either play back and then hold heaven for my team. Or you can do the aggro, it's really up to you. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys want a video on how to counter oppers, let me know in the comments below and I might make a video on that. But that's pretty much it. Those are my tips and tricks for opping in Valorant. I hope this video helps you guys out. If it did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.